Hosanna. And Hosanna, if you have your Bible, it's Hosanna 4. We're going to go to 6. And it says, my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. So we have so much knowledge that we can be destroyed by the lack of knowledge. Meaning
There's a few movies out there for that.
Which one? Go.
Can we say that?
Oh,
We know about those robot movies,
right?
With artificial intelligence. How our knowledge is eventually just going to catch up with us, and
yes, and pretty much
we're done.
Destroy ourselves,
Now, pretty much, that's 100%. We destroyed ourselves. We either did it in a lab, creating something we shouldn't have been messing with,
right?
With our knowledge, or we created a machine that got us. And there were several sequels to one of those machine takeover movies.
Did this guy had a guy that was Mr. Olympian in it?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember.
I think so. He was the governor at one point too.
Oh man.
Anyway, there's these movies, and they're playing out. But with those movies, we actually have stuff like that's coming out that's already here.
And sometimes they say when you see movies, it's the window of the eye, and
what of the future to be told,
or the future to be told, and that's where we are dipping in and talking about, like
Star Trek did it.
Wait a minute, did they do that?
Beam me up, Scotty. He was talking to somebody, and then they had the big screen. This was in the 70s. We definitely weren't doing, telephones, handheld, and be able to see Grandma and Grandpa through. But you could see a whole other ship right there on the screen.
And they were doing that in the 80s, 70s. Man, and this is because they have rejected the knowledge. So we got the knowledge, we have so much knowledge, and then we reject the knowledge. And this brings us to, we have had so much.
We reject knowledge that's good. And replace it with knowledge that's not so good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not exactly good either. It's not fruitful.
So you're saying is that I would rather be live in the lies?
No, I'd rather be out there just living in technology and all the things that it can give me, and I don't have to wash my dishes. I don't have to cook my own food.
Right.
I have this little metal robot dog thing that's gonna walk around, patrol my yard. Nobody has to deliver packages anymore because the drone's dropping them off.
You know what? I think they're doing it right now.
Yeah, that's why I use those, is because there is the kitchen thing where you just put the ingredients in, the little robot makes it for you. And two little arms come out and make it. And they do have that robot dog, which is super creepy. And Amazon uses drones. Go ahead.
So I'm going to go into Revelations 15, 22 and 15, where it says, without our dogs, the sorcerers and the whoremongers, the murderers, the idolaters, the soothsayers, the loveth and maketh a lie, meaning that they rather be in that mode than to actually really philosophically follow what God has called us to do, and that's follow Him. The reason why I went to this 15 first, and I'm going to jump back to 9, is because I wanted to put that out there, because when they talked about dogs at that time, it was a symbol of evil, right?
That's why I'm a cat person.
We do have a cat, and so
we got 2 dogs too,
and 2 dogs. But if you're talking about the dog, when we feed our dogs, well, we feed our dogs, dog food. But when they were talking about, they were feeding them the scraps, right? So
we feed them scraps every now and again too. But we call it a treat.
Yes,
they get the scraps.
Yes.
Leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, ham dinner, whatever. We had some extra something. I gave Buddy soup the other day.
And
it's cold.
And so when you go to the 14, and he was saying it's those who are permitted, but let's think about the ones who are not permitted, and the ones that are not permitted that are trying to go into the gate are the people that I just announced. The reason why that he announced that, because he goes back and he says,
you got to read the scripture so they know what you're talking about.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. So blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. So he's talking about the people who are following the commandments, who have the right to the tree of life. But what he is also saying is, I'm going to reward you. So the reason why I'm going back to Hosanna, now I'll come back to Revelations, because even Hosanna talks about, he gives out rewards in chapter 9 of 4 of 9, where he's like, and there should be like people, like priests, and I will punish them, their ways, and reward them on their doing. So coming back to Revelations, the angel, and what's crazy, the angel's talking to Hosanna, and then there's an angel talking to John in his dream, and the angel says, do not worship me. I am a servant of God. So what he is saying is,
we're on equal footing.
We are on the same plane.
I got the same job you got.
And all I want you to know is, hear me. The only God that you're going to worship is God. Worship God. So in Revelations 22 and 9, he says, the only God you're going to worship is worship only God. Then he instructed me, do not seal up the prophet word in this book, for the time is near. The reason why he was saying that is, we're going to talk about the rewards, because we're talking about knowledge and all the stuff that's coming. He said, let those who are harming, let them harm. Let the ones who are being vile, let them vow. Let them, the ones who are
really
righteous.
Hard to let go of all that.
The ones who are righteous, let them be righteous. And the ones who are holy, continue to be holy. Because look, I am coming soon, bringing the reward. Then we call it Revelations 22 and 12. Look, I am coming soon, bringing my reward with me to repay all people to their deeds. So, if you're doing wrong, he's saying, go ahead, man. You got free will. I'll let you be what you be. You know, if you want to look at this, and that, you want to be where you want to be, do what you're going to do. 11 color. Anyway, if you want to be in that space, by all means. But those who are following the word and who are thirsty, if you are thirsty, we're talking about in Revelation, still Revelations 22. He says, the Spirit and the bride come, and let everyone who hears say come, and let everyone who is thirsty come, and let everyone who deserves to drink freely from the water of life come. So if you're thirsty, meaning you're constantly seeking, you and your spouse are constantly seeking, you're asking God, come and sit with us.
We replaced that whole thing with hungry.
Yes.
Hunger for the fight, hunger for the game, hunger for the win.
Hungry. Now we call
We
it.
used to say thirsty.
Got to be thirsty for it. You got to be want to drink from the water, and you just got to want to feel the that you were called to do something more than what you're doing right now. Now, I'm not saying that having knowledge is bad, but if you're not using the knowledge,
All right.
like we say, too much of a good thing
It's a bad thing.
is a bad thing. So,
Too much sun, too many carrots,
yes,
too much oxygen.
Yeah,
True enough.
I'm breathing too fast. You
No, I'm
pass,
saying you
pass
can't
out.
breathe 100% oxygen. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
You pass out, and I think God is what He's saying to the people is like, look, I get it. You want everything right here, right now. I want it right now. Be patient, because I'm here. But what's interesting? Go ahead, honey. What are you going to say?
I just say nothing comes without patience. Nothing in time. So when you're 20 and you think you know everything, and you're trying to go out there and make your mark, do whatever it is you're going to do, then when you get to 30, you look back and think, wow, how much knowledge I didn't have in my 20s. I'm so glad I made it to 30. And then when you get to 40s, you're sitting there at 40 going, wow, how much knowledge I didn't have. I'm so glad I'm 40, kind of thing. And I think I said this to one of the kids the other day at the house. I don't know which one it was, one of the older kids. And told him, I'm so glad I made it to 41 because you guys are killing me.
Right.
And it's not that they think that they know everything or anything like that. It's just how much that they don't know that I do know. So then I look at my parents and go, oh man, I've got so much further to go. I'm never going to know.
And I think
Never going to know it all.
I think
by any stretch.
as me in my age now too, my younger me, I didn't know everything I should know.
No, I didn't either.
And I'm grateful right now. I know we're not grandparents yet, but I'm grateful at our age that the children at our age we have, that we can really enjoy. It's like an age wine. You have a bitter cup of wine and you have an aged wine. You get that good wine. This to me is like good wine. Having our two little ones. It's nothing wrong with our big ones. They're
Or the ones that are half grown almost.
they're half grown, but it's just what we've known is the knowledge that we had then. Like we're seeing it now in our teenager. Like it's almost interesting seeing how
I sure go.
you're trying to explain to them. We've been down that way. We know where you're going.
Trying to help you
We're
not
trying
crash
to
and
help you
burn.
out. I understand love is, and you're feeling it, and this is the right direction you want to go. But this is about that knowledge, having so much knowledge that.
Well, ours is superior. There's just because life. If you're living life, you can't go through life without experiencing some things.
Yes.
And with that comes the best lessons. And it's not actually something you can teach somebody so much as they have to go through it in this respect. And she'll learn just like everybody else.
Everybody else, growing pains.
So, but it is. I could see. There was a joke that was made. It was a comedian. I don't know who he was, but he was talking about his 15-year-old. We have no 15-year-old, so I can't possibly be talking about one of ours.
Right.
His 15-year-old, he was like, he felt like God in the situation because he said it's like having something, he now knows what it's like to have created something that looks at you and dismisses your every action. As in God created the people and people just turned themselves against him. He said, it never said how old Satan was when he rejected God, but he must have been 15.
Oh.
Saying that, because they think they know everything and you know nothing. They've got it all.
And that's, I think what the word is telling us, yes, AI is on the rampage.
It's alive.
It's alive and well and kicking. I mean, we got autonomous,
Vehicles all over the place.
We're talking about
Our chips in our hands to open our doors, open our cars, start our cars.
Neuralinks and all kinds of stuff right now. And I think we would have said a couple years ago, anything that was in our hand and in our head would be the mark of the beast. Now,
Not necessarily so.
Huh?
Not necessarily so.
You don't think so?
I don't know that it's actually going to be a physical something. I don't know. I
let's
haven't
say,
figured that part out yet. I haven't read enough into that yet to know if that is a metaphorical or a physical.
well, let's say metaphorical. Okay. Metaphorical. Is the mark of the beast a metaphor of, because you're not following God and you're following diverse spirits and demons doctrine and following in your own way, is that a mark of the beast? Because we're already in the mark of the beast society, i.e. physical, cashless society, so on and so forth. But even then, currency in Rome was someone took a coin, stamped it, and said, this is currency.
Right. You went from being the barter system of, I got 2 chickens, you got to go, let's swap.
Let's swap,
kind
right.
of thing. Or I got lumber, you got whatever.
Right. And I got a skill, you don't have a skill, but I got something you want, and so on and so forth. Now, what we have done is change that bartering system to an electronic bartering system.
Well, it's because now I have these skills that mean absolutely nothing to you, so I can't do data entry over here and you be a heart surgeon over there. Our paths will never cross to help each other out, but you get a monetary value and I get one, and then we go over here to these people and we exchange.
Right.
So, I mean, it's set up, it's still the same bartering system with the backing of some other stuff that all means absolutely nothing in the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, money is paper with ink on it.
Yes. But it tells the person that the currency you have, this is in good faith. That's why it says in God we trust. Well, I'm trusting that what you've given me.
That's a rabbit hole. Don't go down that. I'm going to say that's Masons and...
Well, I'm not trying to go down that.
I'll say not today.
We'll circle back down that way when I get my Illuminati hat out. But let me tell you, when we're talking about knowledge, and we're talking about the red pill and blue pill here.
Now you're going to another movie, but that's okay.
when we're talking about knowledge, and we're talking about the youth, we're talking about our age. I am so blessed that we are able, and the difference between my parent and us as parents when we're young and now us parents now, we are able to physically see how the system is molding our youth, and because we're there, and since we have, I guess 20 years experience under our belts, sir, I'm sure you do too, that you get to actually physically go, that ain't right.
Yep.
And so when you want to fix it, and we're in that situation right now, kind of like trying to fix something and limit it. I mean, we are limited, and we have to make decisions. Those are decisions that of course we're praying about, and that we have to come across, and that we don't know if that's going to end up being where we are right now, or we may have to go another path and try to fix that. But
it'll all work out.
It will all work out, and that's why when the angel said to John, no, don't worship me, worship only God. Mm-hmm. If God is first and God is number one, uno, the omega, the one, the light, the star, the bright star, if you believe that God is right there, He's going to lead. He's going to lead us. I believe He's going to lead us. He hasn't dropped us off. What they say, He hasn't brought me this far, just to drop me off. But I believe that God is trying to show us something, and we're trying to humble ourselves to be able to see what He's trying to show us. Either A, trying to show us that we need to move, and not move as a physical building, but move as in locations and try to find a better solution to help our child, because there's so much going on right now, not even in our community, but in other communities where everybody are fighting this whole, well, I know better than you do, so because that's your child, we're going to tell you what to do, but I'm the parent, we should be able to say, well,
okay, yeah, but that's not exactly the problem we're having. We're not discussing that. Go ahead.
We're not discussing that.
We're not. Go.
What I was saying is,
information, faulty information, good information, knowledge to and from. And we've got 2 Bibles sitting out here. So that's where we get our information from, right?
Right.
But before these Bibles, there were several other Bibles.
Right. And the information got construed, and Rachel had looked it up.
Well, I did, because I thought I knew the answer.
Right.
I thought. But then my little electronic device told me that I was wrong. So I haven't actually looked in a book for this, but Google helped me on it.
Right.
Both of us thought that the Geneva Bible in 1560 was the first translation. And if you look it up, a lot of places going to say that's
It's
the
gonna
first
say-
English translation.
First English, but
But it's not, because before that was the Great Bible.
which is in
And I've heard the King James Version of the Bible be called the Great Bible, and they are, and they're interchangeable, and that gets really super confusing because KJV, the King James came out in 1611,
right.
but the Great Bible came out in 1539. So you think, okay, well then fine, 1539 it is.
But
But it's not. Then you got to go back to the Wycliffe Bible, and that was in 1382 to 1395 English translations. And the major difference between these were Wycliffe's Bible was Latin to English, so it was working off of whoever translated it into Latin, right? So
Right.
their Bible, the what was it, NA something, the Catholic Bible, the NAB.
right.
All right. But then the Great Bible and the Geneva Bible were transcribed supposedly from Hebrew and Greek, which predates the Latin, to English. So many different versions in between. I think I saw something like it was like 24,000 different times has it been changed. Gosh.
So
Some of it's just punctuation and grammar, but some of it is we lost verses.
we lost verses and
Like
we
that.
lost wording. We lost.
The NIV Bible has 17 missing verses from the King James Version. The King James Version of the Bible that we're reading out of, which I thought was a good Bible, I don't know, I have to look at this a little further. But this is what comes to that knowledge. You know, you got to look back to that Catholic NAB that they came from to start all this stuff. We lost books, whole books out of the Bible. So from what I have in front of me today.
And because we lost those books,
Why did they get taken out? Why was it added in? I know where some of them went and why, but the principle is not, or the talk is not of this and Bible
And-
theology and
and-
where they came from, but just
no.
to say there's so much
there's so much you've lost.
knowledge,
Yes.
good, bad, and in between, where you can still think you're doing good and still be missing. So keep seeking and keep looking.
And that brings me up to when you go to Revelation, still in 22, it says, "And if a man should take away from the word of the book of this prophecy, God should take away the part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book." So we're already a few thousand years, well, at least 100 years, 1,000,
A few thousand years, I don't know where you're going. A few thousand years from what?
with the scripture being jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just.
Just for this English translation from Latin. I didn't even get into when the first Latin translation was, but just to get that first Latin to English, 1382. Yeah. So 640 years, give or take.
You want to hear something? Thinking, okay, I'm not trying to read backwards,
Don't.
but I'm not trying to read backwards. But he says, if I testify unto every man that hears the word of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto the plagues that are written in this book. And I was thinking about this. It's interesting. I think they had a change in the early 1900s. The Spanish flu came out at the same time.
1918.
Yeah. So here's something to think about. And if we're jacking around, moving things around, when John was trying to decipher everything the angel was giving to him in his dream, and that's why he says the revelation is the book of Jesus Christ. The revelation that Christ has given to John is these things are going to happen. You know, these plagues are going to happen. All these things are going to happen. Knowledge is going to increase. He talks about it in Hosanna, talks about it in Daniel, talks about it in 1 Timothy. He talks about all the way about knowledge. Talking about deceitful, talking about doctrine, false teaching. You know, people are going to come in my name. It's just all these things that are happening. And I think that the reason that we're talking about knowledge, and so you be aware of it, is because if you once you become aware of the situation, then you start looking for it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of like when you buy a new car. Say you bought a Toyota 4Runner.
Okay.
Then you see nothing but Toyota 4Runners on the road after that.
Yes.
I mean, they're like everywhere. Like, wow, I didn't know everybody drove a Toyota 4Runner. But
It's just because you bought it and
you bought it. That's what your mind was on. Now you see it everywhere.
I see it everywhere. And so when your mind, the mind starts to open, they can go for employment. They can go for buying a new yard utensil. You know, I bought a snapper, and everybody else is driving a snapper. You know, it's just that energy that we have talked about in the past. The energy you put out, the energy you get in, good, bad, and different, and the knowledge that's growing and growing and growing until we get to the point that the knowledge that we have create is now enslaving us, which we are. We are enslaved to the device. We are enslaved to this device that we have deemed as technically an idol. We can't go nowhere. I think I've gotten hives before. I've left my phone for some stupid reason. I don't know why I got hives, but I got all emotional because I left my phone because guess what's in it? I got my wife's number, I got my work number, I got my emails, I got credit card, all this information that you've stored in this device.
Because I don't remember my wife's number, nobody's number. I don't remember my mama's cell phone number.
God forbid I needed an emergency.
Oh, I know one for yes. Okay, so I can remember my cell phone died.
Okay.
And I couldn't call the kids. I couldn't call you. I couldn't call anybody. I had to go to the cell phone store. I was like, can you print me a list of my outgoing calls? Because I have no idea how to get a hold of anybody because my phone is completely dead. It just like died. It refused to charge and was dead. So I give me a burner phone and a list and start going, okay, I think I know who this person is. It was ridiculous. So
and
yeah.
when you get in that situation, that's
so bad.
That's
You're so
dependent.
reliant.
So dependent. It almost makes you want to. When you look at the Bible, they said the word. When we go to John.
And the Bible's on your phone too.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the same was in the beginning with God. So, the Word, meaning the Word is just as powerful as you speaketh. And if I want the more knowledge, I want this. And technically, there's a difference between wants and needs. I want a new car, but technically, do you need a new car? It's all those things that it starts to mold us to having employment. So I went from this rate, now I'm at this rate, now I'm at this rate. Now how you get from this rate back down to this rate and still live at this rate when you're so comfortable? Now at this rate, you went from having to,
It's like an upgrade on anything else.
Yes.
So when your income upgrades,